Okay. Should be live any second now.
Okay, a side note, all the footage for this episode was me playing the first Battlefront, and I put it on hard. I lost every single match. It's embarrassing.
That's
I
okay.
apologize ahead of time.
That is okay.
What do you mean
Harder than
hard?
it seems. It's like difficulty modes, like easy, medium, hard. And I put it on hard, and I was like, I think I can do this. And I was like, oh my god, this is brutal.
It's okay.
It's live. Yeah, it's live right now.
All right. Cool. We are live. I'm going to quickly tweet out here on my personal. Close that. We're here. Cool. All right, everyone.
All good too, by the way.
Perfect. Welcome to Follow My Tracers, episode 9, here live on YouTube. Technically episode 10, but episode 9, we'll call it. I'm one of your hosts, Figure9, aka Tony. Today I'm joined, as always, by Jim, aka Power Grudge. How's it going, man?
Howdy doody.
And I'm also joined by Harley. What's going on?
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody. You guys all good with your audio there? All good?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're all good here. So yeah, let's get into the week here, guys. So what have we been playing? Jim, start with you.
So contrary to last week where I didn't game a whole lot, this week it felt like I gamed as much as possible. Other than playing like Warzone with you guys, and a little bit of Fortnite, I've been mostly on PC this week. So I've pretty much been playing all the Battlefront games, like both the original ones and the 2 EA ones, just to refresh myself on everything. I started playing Rage, which I'm about like 2 hours into, and I'm really enjoying it. I got a funny feeling I'm gonna get bored with it pretty quick though. Been playing Doom Eternal on PC because I found out my PC can run it, or my laptop, I should say. So that's been a real treat to play that with a mouse and keyboard, which actually plays a lot different than I thought it was gonna. And then I also started playing Far Cry 2 on PC. I'm about 3 hours into that, and that is the way to do it. I gotta say, that's even for like I think it's 2008, 2009 game. I gotta say, it looks pretty nice on PC, like compared to some games today. And yes, Dominic, I agree in the chat saying, before you say anything, the original Battlefronts are a masterpiece. Masterpieces, but yes, I agree. What about you, Harley?
I've been playing Cold War and Warzone, and then a little bit of Among Us. Yeah,
Very
we were
good.
playing that last weekend too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got a couple W's this week in Warzone. We've had some good evenings.
Yeah, I think we got like 3 in the past 2 days.
Yeah, because we got 2 the one night and then one yesterday too. So that's been fun. I feel like since the DMR got nerfed, all of a sudden we're way better. Funny. Now that there's not this broken gun, like that everyone can just use and eat you from across the map. Like, I don't know. I feel like we're all on level playing field now, and we're starting to win more games. So I'm excited about that. Personally, yeah, I've just been playing some Warzone with you guys, bit of Fortnite here, bit of DBZ Kakarot there. I did finish DBZ Kakarot in terms of the main story. There is a bunch of side stuff to do after the main story though, so I'm going over that. And then I've been playing World of Warcraft as well, a couple hours a day usually, gearing up, doing dailies, doing some dungeons, having a great time with that, starting to really get used to this warrior class, which naturally means I want to play another class, so I'm going to be probably leveling another tune soon. But yeah, that's been what we are doing. And Dom, thank you for the love on the new logo. That was all Power Grudge, man. He whipped that up today. It's a temporary logo, but I think it's a really good temporary logo, so thank you again, Jim, for making that. Looks great. A reminder for everyone watching live here on YouTube that you guys can ask questions in the chat and talk in the chat just like Dom's doing right now, and we'll do our best to respond to you live. And for anyone watching the VOD, you guys can leave a comment and we'll do your best to answer your questions on the next episode. But let's get into the show, the run of the show, and let's start with our unofficial, not sponsored Fuel Up with G Fuel section. Fuel Up with G Fuel. I'm having some green apple right now. Have you guys had G Fuel yet today? Are you having it right now? What flavor are you guys having, Jim? Have you had any today?
I've had the full recommended 3 servings. I've had 3 servings a day since
Oh
Monday.
my.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I felt like it. Today I had uh 28 ounces of Sonic's peach rings, and then
Ooh.
about that's like 10 minutes ago I finished a serving of sour blue chug rug. Top notch.
Oh
What
yeah.
about you, Harley?
That's exactly what I'm having right now. Sour blue chug rug.
That's a flavor I really want to try. Really want to try that one. I was dangerously close to getting a tub of that at the New Year's sale. That might be the next tub I get whenever there's another
So
BOGO that
good.
happens. But yeah, that's our fuel. G Fuel, not sponsored. And there's a lot of news this week, or not a lot of news, but a big topic, anyways. We want to get to, obviously, from the gameplay and the big news about Star Wars and everything. But before we get into that, believe it or not, there actually is a tiny bit of Halo Infinite news. It's not really news; it's a rumor. So, with that, without further ado, let's get into Infinite Watch.
Status report.
Okay, so there's been a lot of rumors floating around this week,
Oh,
and they're
I think
actually.
you cut out there.
Oh, did I? Can you hear me now?
Can hear you now.
Okay. When did
don't-
I cut
were
out?
You, were you just talking? I think you cut out.
Well, as long as you guys can hear me now.
Oh, Dom got Lincolnberry. Lincolnberry's good. I can hear you now. I think you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my internet's been kind of spotty recently, so I think we're good now though. So, like I was saying, there's been a lot of rumors this week, and they're actually credible, I would say, for Halo Infinite. It's coming from kind of Xbox insider Clobryle on Twitter, and we've referenced him a few times. He's been known to get stuff right in the past, and he's very, very close with, or it appears to be very close anyways, with a lot of the Xbox first-party studios, including 343. And he tweeted out that 343 is not doing a battle royale. Instead, they're making a big team battle 2.0. Which with quote, highly expanded battlefield size affairs, massively enhanced vehicular combat, squad spawning, incoming Pelican drops, and more. And he also mentions that, and I kind of like this statement a lot, Halo was once a series about setting trends, not following them. The fact 343 tried to go back to this principle is a good thing. Forge is going to be massively expanded on Halo Infinite, and I'm sure if players would want to see a Halo Battle Royale mode, players could just create it themselves. So, a lot to unpack here in this statement, and the tweet about the big team Battle 2.0 has since been deleted, but it's been reported on news sites and all sorts of stuff now. So maybe he tweeted out something he maybe shouldn't have, or maybe, he got some misinformation himself and then deleted it. But I kind of think it's interesting that maybe 343 isn't doing a battle royale, and they're just doing like a kind of a new kind of like big team battle that isn't just 16 versus 16 on a big map. Maybe there's, maybe it's 32 versus 32, 64 versus 64, maybe it's 100 versus 100. And there's a bit of like Warzone elements in there, not Warzone from Call of Duty, maybe Warzone from Halo 5, where there's, bosses on the map, and there's drops of enemies that you get to kill, there's cool vehicles you can use, squad spawning sounds great. Like, I don't know, like, what do you guys think about that? I've always loved big team battle myself. Jim, I'll let you start with your thoughts on that.
This kind of goes back to our episode when we were talking about our hopes for Halo Infinite, and I was saying, I think I might have changed my mind a little bit, but I'm still leaning more towards the fact that I don't think Halo needs a battle royale. But to now kind of add to that point with this news you just said, because this is news to me too, I think it's awesome that they're going to be reinventing a game mode. Not that they invented Big Team, but a game mode that they're kind of known for getting right. Because whenever we play Halo, even if it's just the three of us, let's say, we usually jump on Warzone, and we usually jump on like a bigger team variant. So
Yeah.
the fact that they're working on improving what I think is the best game mode in Halo, it excites me because they're not, again, like they're not copying the trends. Not that I think it's too little too late to say copying Battle Royale because everybody has it now. So it's really normal. But I'm not going to ramble on too much longer. But I'm actually excited, more excited for this than I would be if it was confirmed they were getting a Battle Royale.
Interesting. Harley, you probably have opposite thoughts, eh?
Yeah, I would like a battle royale,
Yeah.
but I mean, if there isn't, I'm not. It's not like it needs it. It's just it'd be nice. And then Dominic's saying how it kind of sounds like a Halo Battlefield combo. I tend to agree with that. It does kind of sound like, squad spawns. It does kind of sound like a Battlefield-esque mode.
And who knows, maybe they do some really innovative stuff in that mode where it's not just like Battlefield and it's like imagine just like a big team like game that, you're fighting across the expanse of a Halo ring, right? And you have, all these different areas and you have all these different kind of fire teams, they'll probably call them if that's the case, right? And you're pushing for objectives and you're fighting, the other team. Like to me, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I feel like they could do something really interesting with that. Because Battlefield's another game where like we're wanting Battlefield to innovate, right? That's what we all want Battlefield to do this year. So maybe Halo Infinite and Battlefield 6 are onto something with this kind of like big team, expanded big team thing. Because I mean, let's face it, Battlefield implemented a battle royale and it wasn't very good, right? Like I would rather have a really good big team game, like big team battle mode that actually innovates, rather than Halo try to shoehorn in a battle royale. Though I do agree with you, Harley. I think battle royale would be really, really great in Halo either way. So I hope that we get it. Whether it's officially from 343 or a really, really, really good kind of Forge mode, that would be
Yeah, I
nice.
think what you're kind of getting to is kind of like pick a lane.
Yeah,
Like either commit to big team mode or commit to a battle royale,
exactly.
but not both.
That's the perfect way to put it. That's you said what I could not find the words to say. Exactly. Pick a lane, Halo. Pick a lane.
It just come out already.
Yeah, it just come out already. We don't have a release date yet, but it's probably going to be November 15th. And Dom says in chat, Battlefield 1 had multiple operations in the Grand Operations mode, where you'd fight across multiple maps, regions. So fun. That'd be cool. Yeah, I think Battlefield 1 was generally received and played a lot more than Battlefield 5. So who knows? Maybe they do something like that. But let's get off of Halo Infinite. That's all the news we got for now. And it's not news, it's just a rumor. But again, Clobrile has been known to be right. So we'll see what happens. So let's get into some news and current events. And I'm going to start off with, I guess, maybe not the big news, but the news that made a big splash this week. And that was the Cyberpunk apology. So CD Projekt Red tweeted out kind of like a 5-minute apology video just about the state of the game and how it launched, mainly on console, but also a little bit on PC. They were basically just like, yeah, sorry, we thought it was going to be ready and it wasn't ready, and blah blah blah. It was a bunch of nothing. It was 5 minutes of nothing. The apology sounded half baked. I feel really bad for the developers because that's probably not the way they wanted to apologize. Because I don't know, I don't put any of the blame on the developers here, but in that apology video, they also had kind of a timeline of the things that were going to come out. So they have the 1.1 patch, which is sometime this month, and then the 1.2 patch, sometime in the following weeks. And those are kind of big patches. And then they have this big, vague timeline of various updates, free DLC, and next gen patch, and then 2022. So, I mean, they didn't actually tell us anything new, because we already knew there was an update coming out this month and one coming out next month, and that a next gen update was going to come sometime this year. So like everything that they put out in this apology was just like, okay, so like what are you doing? You still can't buy the game on PlayStation digitally. The game is still a broken mess on those consoles, and it's just really disappointing to me that that's what they came up with. Like, they came out with this big 5-minute video and nothing was really said. On top of that, I noticed this today when I was just kind of browsing. Cyberpunk is officially on sale. It's $25 off in Canada across all platforms.
Oh,
PS4,
really?
Xbox One, and PC. Yeah, it's on sale. So I don't know about America or anything like that. And to be fair, I also didn't check the Xbox store. But places like Best Buy, Amazon, EB Games, Staples, wherever you get your games, yeah, it's on sale for $54.99 as opposed to $79.99. So yeah, it's already on sale. I expect this sale to be the first of many. They got a lot of work to do to get back some of these customers. So, what are your guys' thoughts on the apology video, if any? Jim?
That didn't take very long for it to go on sale. Wow. I remember being kind of like shocked when I saw Assassin's Creed Unity on sale brand new for $10, like under a year after it came out. But yeah, this is what, a month?
Yeah,
it's
a month
already
basically.
knocked down like a chunk of change. Like, wow. It's like, Harley, this would be the time to get it if you're gonna get it again. Like, this would be the time.
No, I don't think so, man. It's gonna get cheaper,
no.
man. It's definitely gonna
You know
get
what?
cheaper.
Go to any like game store or just just start searching for dumpsters. I'm sure some store has been throwing it out because they can't sell it. Maybe you can get it for free. See videos of people dumpster diving GameStops in the States all the time and finding stuff. So you never
Yeah,
know.
they throw out some crazy stuff there, man. Yeah, those are fun videos to watch sometimes.
Have to check that out.
Yeah.
What do you think, Harley?
I think it was nice that they did an apology. Maybe they could have added a bit more clarity to the future.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't really have much to think about it.
I think it was interesting.
I've kind of lost my interest in like Cyberpunk and the news and such.
Yeah.
It's kind of just in
that's
the back of my head now.
Crazy to me, man. That's crazy for me. I'm taking a break from it because I think all my hype has like totally died down. Like it is a very fun game. The story is still top notch in my head, but playing all these PC games this week that like work perfectly, I kind of just want to wait a little bit and just like go back on Cyberpunk, maybe like a month, let's say, or whenever the next patch comes out, just to see if some of these issues are fixed, or at least look at the patch notes and see what they tried to fix. But yeah, I think I'm not over Cyberpunk. I'm just waiting because I think it has the potential, and it's weird for me to say it, but it has the potential to be better than Deus Ex. Different kinds of games, granted, but same kind of like themes and stuff like that. So it has the potential. It's just it has a long way to go, and it kind of sucks seeing such like a vague roadmap of what they want to do. Because it'd be nice if they had it more nailed down. It would have been nice if it would have worked at launch too. But we can all wish for certain things, right?
Yeah, I mean, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I think a lot of the language in the apology video was very strategic because, of course, they're facing multiple lawsuits right now. So they could only say so much. So I think that probably had a factor of the vagueness and everything going on with it right now, just because I'm sure they have some legalities they need to figure out. So I guess moving forward with Cyberpunk, the one thing I'm going to want from them is just more transparency. And I guess today was or not today, I guess this week was, I guess like a half step, a quarter step towards that, because they kind of said they're starting to do stuff. But I guess just moving forward over this next year, like it's the very beginning, right? It's the start. So just be very transparent about what's going on with the game, how it's developing, all the different optimizations, and yeah, ultimately just where it's going. Because I'm in the same boat right now where I haven't played Cyberpunk yet this year, and I haven't played it. I didn't even think I played it once over the holiday break, to be honest. So, not that I've lost interest in it. It's just that I'm kind of just waiting. So I'm like, well, there's going to be a big patch in a few days or in a week, and then there's going to be another big patch in February. Should I just wait? Like, will I have a better experience if I just wait? That's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. But moving off of Cyberpunk, and quickly, Dom in the chat says only had 5 drinks. Tony said infinite one more time, so my drink count is even at 6. Well, I just said it again, so you have to drink again, Dom. We got some new GTA 6 rumors this week. Jim, what do you think of those?
So these GTA rumors are kind of stretched upon 2 different platforms. The first one is a data miner. This is via Games Radar. I'm reading this info, but it's on like a lot of different gaming news sites. So a data miner looked through the files of Red Dead Redemption 2, and they found and they include screenshots in their Reddit post. references to parachuting in Red Dead Redemption 2, but you can't, as far as I know, and as far as they know, you can't really parachute in Red Dead 2. So people are thinking that this is a hint that they're going to be using some assets from Red Dead Redemption 2 for GTA 6. So people think that that's kind of hinting towards, well, for sure GTA 6. They haven't really said anything concrete about GTA 6. If anything, really, that's substantial. And the other rumor, to kind of compound onto this, is a Call of Duty leaker, Tom Henderson, on Twitter, this is also via Games Radar, has claimed that for the first time ever, and this is quoting his tweet, quote, for the first time ever in a GTA title, GTA 6 will have a playable female and male protagonist. He's a pretty reliable leaker, apparently. So take that with a grain of salt. But if that is true, I believe it is the first mainline GTA game. I don't know if Chinatown Wars or whatever like that had, female protagonists you could play as, but this would be the first time you'd be able to play as male or female in Grand Theft Auto. What do you think about that, Tony?
Yeah, I'm all for a good female character as long as the writing's good. And that's not to say that I don't want that to come off the wrong way. I just don't want it to be like one of those things where like, oh, look at us, we have a female lead. It has to be written good, right? Either way, and obviously GTA has the pedigree to do that. So more power to him. I'm excited about that. That's great. I think that adds a new layer to it. So personally, I'm very excited about that. And about the assets from Red Dead Redemption 2, that makes a lot of sense. That game looks drop dead gorgeous on PC at everything, so like at full settings. So I'm sure that maybe saves Rockstar a bit of time in making GTA 6, which we've been waiting for since 2013. It's been a while.
Oh, and I forgot to mention the article too. I kind of glanced over this. The file that's present that people are pointing to is not present in Grand Theft Auto 5's files. So this is just Red Dead 2, or potentially GTA 6.
Perhaps the same engine then.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too. What about you, Harley? What do you think about all this GTA 6 stuff?
I think it's a good step forward, and I wonder if it's gonna be like, I wonder if the two characters are gonna be different, or is it like a female or male option?
Yeah, that's a good point.
'Cause
Almost like Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah, the last GTA. Right? Yeah. And then the last GTA though, you played as 3 different characters. So I wonder if it'll be kind of implemented like that. Be interesting to see. It's
Wasn't
a nice
they're
doing that.
Wasn't it in Odyssey, or not Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I might be speaking out of term here. Wasn't there an option where you could play as whatever is canonically correct to the story? So like sometimes you'd be the male version, sometimes you'd be female? Or am I thinking of a different game?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question.
I could have swore I saw something like that, but I might be wrong. But maybe it'll be a situation like that, because like Harley was saying, in GTA 5, you played as 3 major characters. So maybe you all kind of go to the same conclusion in the end. So maybe this GTA 6, because you're gonna have the power of next gen now, so you could have as big of a game as you want essentially without limits. So you could have 2 drastically different stories going on where they intersect, I'm sure, but you could have 2 different stories going on and like 2 different outcomes type of thing, which would be kind of cool. I think that might be a first for them too.
Yeah, they do like to innovate, so we'll see what happens. But either way, I'm pretty excited about any and all GTA 6 news. It's been a while since a new GTA game, so
yeah.
Moving on. Looks like some Warzone streamers are finding new ways to cheat with recordings, right, Harley?
Oh, wait, what?
Through recordings, right? Warzone streamers.
Recorders, are you talking about?
Yeah.
No. This is what I had is so a Warzone streamer won the gulag using a recorder. So what he did is he mapped the controls to notes on a recorder, played the recorder to play the game.
No way.
Won the gulag.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the guy like I was just reading the text that you sent over.
No.
Like he recorded something and then won.
Yeah.
Oh, that's way better.
No. The musical instrument, the recorder. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's insane to watch.
The one that everybody played in school at least once.
Yep.
That's amazing. That's like
That's
the speed runs with Guitar Hero controllers and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
people
great.
playing like games on Wii controllers, or what are they? The little sticks. I don't know what they're called. I never owned a Wii.
The Wiimotes.
Oh, the nunchucks?
Yes.
No,
yes,
that's
yes.
that's the other thing.
Yeah, the nunchucks. No, just crazy stuff.
That's crazy. Won the gulag using a recorder.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
Who was the streamer? Was it anyone like big or was it a smaller streamer?
I don't know their popularity. It was Dino Bino.
Never heard of him.
Well, kudos to you. Holy moly.
Yeah, that's amazing. I wonder how many failed attempts he had.
Ooh.
I'm hoping he got it like right the first time type of deal.
Could you imagine? And then just every
that'd
time
be
he goes in the
crazy.
gulag now on, he just whips out the recorder. He just goes,
Website.
yeah, here we go.
I mean,
Play some hot cross
that's
buns.
pretty hard.
That's crazy, man.
Mhm.
That's funny. I read that completely differently. I thought somebody was cheating.
Well, it fixed some of the people using the stim glitch.
See, I read
I
that
guess
that's
that's
still a
probably-
problem after the patch.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't
Uh-oh.
know. Yeah, I read that it's people can still do it, but
That
I
glitch
haven't seen
has
it yet.
been in the game for so long.
Yeah,
Like
and
it's been patched, it's been fixed, and it comes back.
yeah, I don't
I
understand
don't know
that.
what it is.
I don't know, man. Warzone's so weird.
They should just take out stems then at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
don't know many people that actually like use stims other than for the stim glitch.
And I haven't used anything other than a heartbeat for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, taking out stims would actually fix it. Maybe they should just do that. That'd be all right. Cuz like the only reason I would carry a stim is that if I like dropped fresh and I didn't have a secondary tactical or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know, that's the
Yeah.
only reason I'll pick it up. Otherwise, I
If you
just leave
find
it.
it and you want something, yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
Mm-hmm.
Raven Software, Treyarch, whoever's running Warzone at this point, maybe just take out stims. That would work. Moving on from Warzone, we got confirmation from Nintendo and a new trailer for the new Pokemon Snap game. And it's coming out April 30th, 2021. So this game was revealed sometime last year. Just a short trailer. And we got a new like minute and a half trailer of the game, and it's exactly what you think it was. It's Pokemon Snap from the N64, but it's like in terms of the style of gameplay where you're on rails and you're taking pictures, but it's all HD and it's a new island with new Pokemon, and yeah, it looks really cool. It looks really, really pretty too. It's a different art style and engine clearly from Sword and Shield. It looks really, really nice. And it is full price, which I was kind of surprised about. People thought that, and I kind of thought that, well, it's Pokemon Snap. The original Pokemon Snap you could beat in a few hours. Maybe this will be like a $40 game, a $50 game. It's not going to be full price. No, it's full price. It's $80 Canadian. So that might turn some people off from it. I'm probably still going to get it just because it's Pokemon. And I know it's probably going to be a fun experience, and maybe it won't last too long, but I know I'll have a good time with it. So I'm sure you guys don't have too many thoughts about Pokemon Snap, but did you guys ever play Pokemon Snap back in the day on the N64?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not enticed to get a new one, but maybe we will. I don't know. It's hard to say. If there's a lot more to it than, because the original was essentially just the on-rail stuff. There wasn't a whole lot more other than that. But if this game kind of fleshes stuff out, maybe not that you can like walk around freely. Like, okay, so better question. So gameplay wise, is it going to be the exact same as the old one where it's all on rails, or is it going to be different somehow? Do we have any info on that?
From what I know, it's still on rails. Apparently your car
Unless it's,
still
like,
auto
super
drives.
long.
Yeah, and
Okay, so
from what I understand, there's about 200 Pokemon compared to the 63 of the original game. So, like, I don't know, call it 4 times the number of Pokemon that you need to photograph, but, you know, it's still not... the original is so short anyways, right? Like, this can be longer than 10 hours, maybe, in my mind.
well, there you go. Renee in the chat. I will definitely buy Pokemon Snap, Jim. There you go. That answers my question. So
Yes,
I will be
Renee.
owning Pokemon Snap at some point in time.
There you go.
There you
There
go.
you go. I love Pokemon
I won't
Snap,
be
though.
playing it.
It's such a
but I will
charming
own
game,
it.
man. It's so charming. Harley, did you ever play Pokemon
Yeah, I
Snap?
got a lot of
little
use out of it.
You played a little? Yeah?
Played a smidge.
Yeah.
I remember it being just like a fun time, just casual fun.
That's exactly what it is. It's, Pokemon Snap is, it's not trying to be this hardcore experience that is 100 hours to complete, and it's, it's just, you go on this on-rails thing, and you take pictures of Pokemon, you do certain things, and maybe you throw an apple at them, and they get mad, and, shock another Pokemon, and that Pokemon evolves, and then kills that Pokemon. Like, it's kind of just like a, you just kind of go on rails, and you see what happens, and maybe you unlock some secret courses, and you do your thing. But it's a fun time. It's a good experience. So I'm looking forward to it, and it does look really, really good. Like I said, from just from a visual perspective, which I'm excited about. Moving on from Pokemon Snap, Bethesda is making a ton of games, a ton of them. And a reminder that Bethesda is now owned by Microsoft. And Todd Howard is a very busy guy. But there was some news about kind of his priorities. Jim, you were going to talk about that.
Yep. So this may be mentioned later, but a new Indiana Jones game was announced a few days ago, and Todd Howard is one of the leads on it, if not the lead. But he's going to be executive producing it, I believe. But he's also currently the lead on Starfield, which is their new IP, and the Elder Scrolls 6. But Bethesda's marketing boss, Pete Hines, confirmed that Todd will continue to focus primarily on Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, even though he is attached as executive producer to Indiana Jones. So essentially telling people, don't worry, everything's going to be, I guess, taken care of. Not like nothing's going to get forgotten. And yeah, I guess you're just trying to reassure their fans. I mean, people can think what they want of Todd Howard after Fallout 76, but it's nice to know that he still is focusing on, well, as so they say, directing Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. He's also got his hands, I think he's executive producing the Fallout TV show, which is coming to Amazon, apparently. I don't know much about that, but I remember reading that. What do you guys think about all that? Let's start with Harley.
I think it's good that he's keeping keeping focus. Yeah.
There's not a whole lot to say about it. It's just
I don't know. I don't really know to say. I think you nailed it on the head.
Yeah, I agreed. Makes sense that he has his priorities straight about the big things that he's working on, but he's pretty high up there. It makes sense that he's got his fingers in a lot of different pies, So he's kind of just he's a bit of a puppet master, right? He's kind of just controlling the scene, but his main puppets, of course, are Starfield and Elder Scrolls and Fallout, I guess, too. Moving on from there, Harley, you mentioned something to me about a secret multiplayer Resident Evil game. Did I read that correctly?
Yes. So sometime, I believe this month, there's going to be some more info on Resident Evil 8. But or it might have already happened, but they also mentioned that there's a beta for a game that's like no name. It's just a closed beta for a multiplayer Resident Evil game. So no one really knows much about it other than there's going to be a closed beta within January. And what was it? It was like Resident Evil like insiders. I believe it was, they said silver rank. I'm not really sure how that, because you're an Xbox insider.
Yeah.
So I believe they have something similar within just Resident Evil. Here it is. January 21st is the Resident Evil showcase. But yeah, so they were saying silver ranked members have a better chance of getting into the closed beta. Yeah, I just thought it was a little cool rumor because I enjoy the Resident Evil games. And I remember, I believe it was Raccoon City, I believe, that had multiplayer, and I found that really fun. So I'd like a new Resident Evil multiplayer game, so thought I'd just throw that out there.
Yeah. I wonder if that'll be baked into, I guess, 8. Or if it's going to be kind of a separate thing.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
As well, we have a... I guess there's kind of 2 parts to this, and you guys each had something on it. But there was a Battlefront 2 PC spike in terms of population. Jim?
I'll let Harley take this one because I'm pretty sure he has the article ready. I don't have it on hand.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah.
And yeah, so I guess that'll lead
Harley
into part 2 that Harley was going to talk about, which I believe had to do with error codes with Battlefront 2 on PC, right?
Yep. So people were getting error codes with the numbers 623 or 918. One was a large amount of players are trying to connect right now. Please wait a few minutes and try again. And then 918 was EA account is restricted. EA issued a statement about both the codes saying that telling people to sit tight as the team scales up new servers. So apparently, Battlefront 2 is getting a lot of new people, and they're needing to upgrade their servers to hold that new mass. I mean, free. I mean, I before the podcast, I got it too. I mean, it's a fun game, and getting it for free. I believe you get it's called the collector's edition or celebration edition.
Yeah, celebration.
Yeah. What is entailed in that, Jim?
So you get except for the exception of a couple like event challenge based cosmetics, you get every single cosmetic item unlocked. So you get all the different legions for stormtroopers. You get all the hero cosmetics, again minus a few that were for special events, which is still a bummer, but it's only like I think 3, maybe 3 or 4, but that's really only the big difference. You don't get any extra like gameplay content as far as I know. It's mainly just cosmetic as far as I'm concerned.
But I mean, there is a lot of variety. Yes.
Oh, there is a lot, yeah.
I know for clone troopers, I think there's like 20 or something.
There's might even be more than that, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Nice getting them all free.
Yeah,
having to spend cash.
It'd be nice if you could link it to your console, but yeah, like it's cool getting that because initially, the Celebration Edition upgrade was okay. No, I bought it a while ago. I bought it when it first came out. I think it was about $15 to $20 extra just for the cosmetic stuff. Which just for cosmetics, I mean, you could argue that's a lot, but I'd argue, I mean, I bought crystals to unlock the Han Solo and Lando skins that came out when the Solo season was starting, like when Solo came out a couple years ago, and that was about $10. So I mean, instead of grinding to unlock all the cosmetics, it's kind of you're not paying. It doesn't give you an advantage at all gameplay wise. It's more for people that just want to dress up essentially. So I think it's worth it, even if it's not free, because normally I think the game is 50 currently. I think it's 50 or 51 on PC, but it's been on sale for cheaper on consoles. So I feel like I'm blabbing, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, can't beat free, man.
Yeah, might as well try it.
I didn't look at how big the install was, but I'm confident my computer would. 90
gigs.
Oh,
yeah, it's big.
All right, well,
I mean, that seems to be the standard nowadays.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. I won't
just
be downloading
assume
that.
Now every game is 90.
Yeah.
And Dom saying hopefully they take the profits and utilize it for some new games. We talking about some new games,
Maybe.
some hopes.
Speaking of new games, I guess this is kind of leading into our main topic, but uh, got a lot of news about Star Wars and Indiana Jones and stuff this week, and Lucasfilm Games is a thing, which I don't think it was a thing until now, right, Jim?
Yeah. So before then, let's just roll right into this because
Yeah.
this kind of rolls into the topic.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, for about 20 years before Disney bought Star Wars in 2012, LucasArts was like the main. They had a game studio. They were publishing Star Wars stuff and other stuff too, but mainly Star Wars stuff for about 20 years. So on the publishing side, um, we got series such as the Jedi Knight series. We got that includes Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy, and Dark Forces and all that. We got Rogue Squadron. We got Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. We got the classic Battlefronts, as Dom mentioned in the chat earlier. We got Empire at War. There's a lot of good quality published games that they had. But they also in-house developed games. We had Shadows of the Empire, which was kind of like one of the bigger kickoff games that had a lot of popularity when it first came out. We had Episode 1 Racer, Republic Commando. Um, as far as I know, the Dark Forces 1 and 2, they were self-published, but Outcast and Academy, I think were Raven Software, if I remember. But we also got The Force Unleashed that was also developed in-house. The unfortunate thing, though, about Disney buying Lucasfilm in general is that they kind of made LucasArts defunct the year after. So we had canceled games such as Star Wars First Assault, which was going to be, according to Wikipedia, which is the best place to look up anything Star Wars. It was going to be a download only game that was going to play similar to the Battlefront games. We also had Star Wars Attack Squadrons, which it kind of sort of became Squadrons later on. Not that like anything in the game code got carried over, but just the idea of like a fighter pilot based game. And it did end up coming out later, which is nice. We had Star Wars Outpost, which was essentially a Farmville clone. But again, according to Wikipedia, you could do some what they call very hardcore elements, such as the ability to betray others for resources, which was kind of cool. I don't think you could do that in Farmville. I think it's pretty casual. But the biggest one for me that got canceled, which I wish would come back, is Star Wars 1313. If you go on YouTube, you can look at the showcase demo that they showed at E3 2012, and it looked fantastic. That probably would have been a knockout of a game if it would have come out. But in 2013, EA gained the license to exclusively publish Star Wars games, which I kind of want to look back at today. Because in the was that 8 years? Yeah, in the 8 years that they had the license, we had four main games come out. That would be the reboot Battlefront, Battlefront 2, Jedi Fallen Order, and Squadrons. So I thought it'd be nice to kind of look back because I've played all of these. I think we've all played most of them, maybe except for Squadrons. I think I'm the only one that's played that. But I kind of wanted to look back because I think there is a lot of good to look at here. There's also not good stuff to look at too. So I'm gonna get Star Wars Squadrons out of the way because, well, two main reasons. One, pretty sure I'm the only one that owns it, but two, I haven't played a whole lot of it to be fair. Just to give a quick first impression, it's very fun. It's definitely the best flying controls we've had in the EA Star Wars era. There were game modes that had fighter pilots and starships in it in Battlefront and Battlefront 2. But this is it's very refined because the sole focus is flying. So it's very cool to be able to look around your cockpit. You can customize your cockpit, you can customize the ships. There's a lot of cosmetic based stuff. Um, the story mode is told from two perspectives, the rebels and the Imperials. It centers around the Starhawk program, which is big in the EU, but I won't dive into that. I haven't played the multiplayer yet. I am waiting to complete the story to try it, but I have more motivation to play the story, funny enough, than the multiplayer, even though I think the multiplayer is far more popular. But I am excited to dive deeper into this game once I do get the chance. But I feel like I'm talking a lot. Let's start with Battlefront 2015. I think we've all played it, right? We all own this.
I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you, Harley? I think we played it when it first came out, right?
Yep. It's the only one of the 4 I own. Well, technically, I own Battlefront 2 now. So.
Yeah. So it's fair to say that the Battlefront 2015 reboot was kind of bare bones when it first came out.
Yeah.
There was no dedicated single player campaign. It focused solely on the Age of Rebellion stuff, which you could only be the rebels and the Empire. That includes Heroes 2. It mainly focused on that. Any initial impressions? Like, I think we played it a fair amount. I rebooted it up yesterday and today to play a little bit of it. And it is fun, but there's just something missing.
Yeah.
What about you, Tony? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Bare bones is the right way to describe it. The gameplay was great, and the visuals were stunning, just like in Battlefront 2. Really, really nice visuals. The sound effects, the score, like everything except for basically the voice acting on the heroes was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. The voice acting on the heroes was not good, but I mean, yeah, I mean, from everything else, it was great. I think we were all, when we played it, we all really liked it, but we were all like, this is all it really has. Like, we wish it had, Galactic Conquest, or I think that's what it's called, right? Galactic Conquest, and a single player campaign, and more modes, and more just to do other than like the 2 or 3 things that it let you do. And I believe at the start it didn't even let you fight AI, right? It was only multiplayer.
Yeah, the instant action or battles, I can't remember what they called it. That didn't come until a while into the launch. But that's kind of a pattern I've noticed with this and Battlefront 2 was there wasn't a whole lot of content at launch, but unlike Battlefront 2 where all the post-game content was free, I had the season pass, so I did get a chance to play all the DLCs as they rolled out, and the DLCs really did add quite a bit gameplay-wise, and they just had more fun levels. Like being able to do like a Death Star trench run was really cool. How doing this space battle and then going from that into the Death Star, it was cool. Like it was fun, but ignoring that, yeah, just there wasn't a whole lot. Dom's saying it was disappointing from a replayability, but it was fun to hop in and play some games and get off. Yeah, that's actually a really good way to summarize it. I don't think I could play it for hours at a time.
No,
just
definitely
because
not.
you end up playing the same thing, like same map over and over again. Like Walker Assault, I think, was the 40-person game mode that kind of centered around a lot of the maps. And then later on, they had a free update for when The Force Awakens came out for Battle of Jakku, or a little bit later than that. But that was probably my favorite map in that game. But kind of like comparing it to the original Battlefront, which isn't fair because they came out so far apart, but comparing it, I think the maps, they're pretty fun for the most part in this game. Not a whole lot of them stuck out though. Whereas in the original Battlefront, and this is also because we've had about 16 more years with the original one, a lot more sticks out in that one. Like with Battlefront kind of feeling a lot like Battlefield. I mean, the maps, I love all the different systems and planets and environments, but they all kind of feel samey. And I might be alone in that, but
No, you're right.
I do agree though, Dom. The visual design and the sound design are phenomenal. This is like top-notch stuff for this generation.
You boot up Battlefront 1 or Battlefront 2, and they're probably still some of the best looking games on Xbox One and PS4. They look like they're running on a high-end PC, but you're running it on a Xbox One or PS4. They do some really cool stuff with it. I think from a feeling perspective, you're right though. Yeah. I mean, it's based off of the what's it called? Frostbite engine, I think, which is what EA uses for everything. Of course, Battlefield as well. So it makes sense that it kind of feels and plays like Battlefield. That's essentially what it was. It felt like a Battlefield, but with a Star Wars skin, a really good Star Wars skin. But I think that's why ultimately it was a bit of a letdown, where it was like, oh, this is great, but that's it, right? It's kind of you play Battlefront 2015 once, and you've kind of experienced all it has to offer, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, and a couple things that kind of those 2 things for sure I really didn't like about it. I mean, I could play it no problem, and I could complain all I want, but it's very fun. But the 2 big problems I have with it, there's no dedicated classes. You kind of you can equip whatever gun, you can equip whatever cards. But the thing I loved about the old Battlefront games is certain scenarios called for certain classes. Like you could be a soldier, and then as soon as more vehicles start coming out, you'd switch to, I think it was a Vanguard in the original Battlefront 2. It's a heavy in the new buttons, but you'd switch your class to kind of adapt to a situation. Whereas in Battlefront 1, you just kind of, it doesn't feel unique, I guess I'll say, or unique enough where you're just kind of customizing the same guy and switching cards out and blah, blah, blah. I didn't really care for that much. And the thing that I think was the biggest mistake they made, and this is probably them streamlining it or streamlining it to kind of make it feel more like Battlefield, was the heroes and the vehicles were just token pickups on the ground. You had to like run around and try and find where the tokens were in order to operate the vehicles or be Vader or be Luke. Like that's a big party foul. I didn't like that at all. That's the biggest negative I can take away from it, I think.
It leaves up the chance. Yeah.
True, but I mean, in the original ones, you could start Hoth, let's say, and then you have a hangar full of speeders, and if you jump in one, then you can go. But I don't want to run around to try and find a little token, and certain people know where they are, so they'll just sit in the same spot and they'll immediately pick it up as soon as it's available.
Yeah,
and that's stupid. I think the system's greatly improved later on, but we'll get to that game. With no single player campaign, I didn't really have much draw to the smaller scale modes. When I play the original Battlefronts, it's nice having a lot of larger scale battles, which are my favorite maps in the other ones. So to kind of have these smaller game modes like Blast or Droid Run or I didn't remember what else is in the first one, but I don't play a lot of the smaller scale modes. I don't know about you guys. Does that draw you in, or when you think Star Wars, do you think bigger?
I think bigger. I want Galactic Assault.
Yeah. Exactly. I want space battles with like 40 people. I want ground battles with a bunch of people. Maybe a space and a ground going on at the same time.
Like that was so cool.
Yeah.
One moment you're in space, the other moment you're on the enemy ship.
Yeah. Exactly. That was the best. And I think Dom says it well in chat. It was where he says for a game that came out 10 years previously, like Battlefront 1 anyways, compared to Battlefront 2015, it was so much deeper than the DICE version. Or I guess Battlefront 2 compared to Battlefront 2015. And yeah, exactly. Like Battlefront 2 has way more content than Battlefront 2015. And not Battlefront 2. It's so confusing, man. Original Battlefront 2 has more content than Battlefront 2015. Which is just kind of weird. It doesn't really feel right. It really just felt like as weird as this sounds, like a beta or like a prototype for Battlefront 2, like the new one. Like, I don't know. I feel like they could have skipped Battlefront 2015 and just made Battlefront 2 as the sole Battlefront. But hey, you know what? They sold a crap ton of copies of both, so they did something right.
Yeah, like it was rushed out to meet The Force Awakens when it was released in theaters, so that probably adds to the fact that there wasn't a whole lot of content in it, and all the content that came later, if they would have delayed the game, would have come out later with all the DLC content in the game. My opinion might be totally different than it is now, but as it currently stands, from the base game, just kind of for a game that's already 6 years old this year, it feels like 20 years outdated compared to the sequel, if you ask me. Like, it's funny how games age nowadays. Like, if you play a Call of Duty, like if you played Black Ops 4, let's say, and then we went to Black Ops Cold War, even Modern Warfare, they feel like they're decades apart mentally for me, but they only really came out a year or two apart, right? So
yeah, and it's like, why would you go back to Battlefront 2015 when you can play Battlefront 2, the new one? Like, there's no good reason to. Where you could argue there's a reason to go play the original Battlefront versus Battlefront 2. The original Battlefront 2, sorry. Just because there's different maps and stuff to do, right? So
yeah. Dom also in the chat says, I think a Battlefront that does what Titanfall does, which is a combo of AI and live players, would be so successful, and Respawn can make a Star Wars game. Yeah. It is very true. Moving on, good segue, Dom. Thank you very much. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was the third, I don't think chronologically the third, but in my notes it's the third one down, because I want to talk about Battlefront 2 last, because I have a lot to say about it. But Jedi Fallen Order was the big single-player narrative-driven game to come out in the EA Star Wars era. It's kind of like Star Wars Dark Souls gameplay wise. It can be pretty challenging. I have it on, or at least when I beat it, I had it on the second hardest. I can't remember what it is, but I had a lot of trouble in some parts, only because I'm not the best at Dark Souls games. So I did a lot of yelling at my TV because I'm not privy to that kind of gameplay style. I don't. Harley, you said you didn't own this game, right?
No.
So
Well,
Tony, what are your thoughts? Well, yeah, I guess that's true. Now that we have EA Play, but what do you think about Jedi Fallen Order initially, Tony?
Um, I really really like it. I haven't beaten it yet. I'll say that. I I don't know how many hours I am, but now that the next gen, I guess, update patch is out, which it's not a full next gen patch, it's almost like just like a next gen optimization patch that came out where you can basically the frames and the resolution get better, but they don't actually improve any of the assets. So maybe there'll be a full next gen patch at some point, but I guess that was something that we missed in the news, but we're talking about it now. So Jedi Fallen Order had a PS5 and a Series X/Series S patch this week that unlocks the frame rate and, or not unlocks it, raises the frame rate and raises the resolution on the performance mode and the visual fidelity mode on the Series X, and then the PlayStation 5 only has the one mode, but it raises both of them on that as well. So now that mode is back, I've been looking for an excuse to get back into it, because I really really like it, and now that patch is out, I definitely want to play more of it. When I got it with my Xbox One X, and when I played it on that, I played it primarily on the performance mode, which is the 60 FPS mode. And on the Xbox One X, it was great, but the resolution really suffered because of it. Things looked like kind of blurry and not great on the performance mode, in my opinion, at least on a 4K television, because it was kind of probably rendering at like 900p or something like that. So I prefer frames over to resolution, but when I was playing it, I'm like, I bet this would look really really nice on a PC or on next gen consoles. And now that patch is out, like I'm all in. That's probably gonna be one of the next games I beat, to be honest, because I really like the gameplay, I like the challenge, I like the story. It's made by Respawn, who of course are the mastercrafts behind Titanfall and Titanfall 2, which I absolutely love. So yeah, and it was one of the best games that came out last year. So I'm looking forward to, not last year, I guess 2019, 2 years ago. So I'm really looking forward to playing through it. Nothing but good things to say about that game.
It kind of gave me hope because Battlefront 2 came out first, and Battlefront 2's launch, which we'll get to, was less than stellar, to say the least. So to kind of have that sting at first, there was a bit of worry when I saw initial gameplay for Jedi Fallen Order, just because I'm always, Star Wars is like my favorite franchise, so I'm always kind of, not protective, but I'm always picky with it. Like, I'll buy anything that says Star Wars, but like I have pretty strong opinions on stuff like that. But I will say, like, story-wise and character-wise, like, this is one of the best, like, Star Wars stories ever told, if you ask me. All the characters are great. I think the villains are great, too. The Inquisitors and all that, and Second Sisters, or Sisters in general. I think the Second Sister is just one of them. But everything's really well done. The last chunk of the game is really, really good. I won't get into it for spoiler reasons, but the last, like, little chunk of the game is really, really good. The whole game's good in general, but that part sticks out to me in general. The cutscenes look great. The voice acting's good too. I really hope these characters get introduced into the EU at some point, other than just this game. But regardless, yeah, for like a single player, like I think the last game we kind of got like this from LucasArts when it was a thing was The Force Awakens, or Force Unleashed.
Yeah, those games are pretty big and popular.
Unleashed.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to expect from those, which I want to get into those too down the line. And Dom, are we done with Jedi Fallen Order, do you think? I don't think there's a whole lot else to say about it. It's really good. It's one of the best games on the last gen, if you ask me. So
yeah, it's probably the best EA Star Wars game that they made, and probably because Respawn made it. They're an awesome studio, and EA had nothing to do with it except for that they published it. There's no microtransactions. There's no stupid multiplayer mode that they baked in. It is what it is. It's Star Wars Dark Souls, and it's great. So that was one of the good things that came out of that EA partnership. But we can move on.
Do you have any final thoughts, Harley? Do you have any
Nope.
Expectations for if you play it, or are you gonna play it down the line or no?
I'd like to play it, but I guess we'll just have to see.
At least it's
It's
on
a
Game
fairly
Pass.
long game too. Like it
How
took
long?
me
Like
about
30?
15-20 hours. Like like it's a large enough game. Like you won't be able to beat it in one sitting, which is nice. Whereas Force Awakens 2, Force Awakens, God, I didn't get that so mixed up. Force Unleashed 2, I think I beat in like a sitting and a half. Like it's not that one wasn't very long. That disappointed me initially, but weird how I played the Force Awakens 2, but not okay, Force Unleashed 2, but not Force Unleashed 1.
You didn't
Regardless,
play the first one?
no, I never did
Oh, it was good.
because I didn't think Force Unleashed 2 was all that good. But we're not talking about LucasArts. We're talking about EA, and we're gonna get to what I consider the best EA Star Wars game. Not at first, but when it got overhauled after it launched, definitely became my favorite EA Star Wars game. So we are talking about Battlefront 2, 2017. Um, a lot of the marketing around this game revolved around the single player campaign, which is a big difference from the first Battlefront, which didn't have a campaign. And depending on which way you look at it, it was maybe a good thing they didn't include a single player campaign initially. I think it's okay. It's fun. It starts off really promising. Um, all the trailers revolved around playing as the Empire, playing as Inferno Squad. But no, if you play the campaign for like an hour, you can kind of see where it's going to be going, where you end up switching sides, which isn't. I don't feel bad about spoiling uh, this game's campaign because I don't think that's where this game necessarily shines. If you care about the story, it's it's fine. Like it's your typical predictable story. Like it doesn't go anywhere crazy. And they added an extra chunk of single player. I can't remember what it's called, maybe Resurrection, but that extra chunk of single player leads into The Last Jedi, which I found again, gameplay wise, it's whatever, but story wise, it was pretty cool in that little add on. And I've read the book for Inferno Squad too. It doesn't add a whole lot to the game, but regardless, that was a big difference. Another big difference was all the eras of Star Wars are represented. You have the prequels, you have the original trilogy, and then you had the Disney era Star Wars movies, or the sequel trilogy, if you will, all represented. Maps, characters, weapons, everything, which is a big, big plus. That already adds, 2/3 more of a game compared to the first one. Um,
Yeah, big time.
yeah, I have a lot of notes here. I don't know which to go through first. Another big difference was there was no season pass. I remember when this game was coming out. I can't remember who in EA was saying it or who in whoever was developing or whoever was doing like the PR stuff. They were saying that they might have a seasons pass, they might not, but then they ended up choosing not to. And there was a ton of post-launch content that we got, and for the most part, all of it was pretty great. Um, yeah, what do you guys think about that stuff? I have a lot of stuff here, so I don't know if I want to blow through all of it all at once.
Are you going to talk about the controversy with the game?
Yeah, I'm gonna dip into that a little bit. Let's just get into that. To answer your question, Dom, from a couple messages ago, yes, absolutely, re-download Battlefront 2. It is excellent, if you ask me. Right now, it is because it's been all the support's been gone for it for I think come April will be a year, come May. But at first, they kind of had a little bit of controversy
A little bit.
in terms of
Lot.
I'm underplaying it.
A
But
lot, dude.
Um, loot boxes, thank God they're gone for the most part in games. There's a lot of pay to win BS that went on with this game when it first came out. The progression system was essentially broken. You'd have to grind. I think the count one person did was like 30 or 40 hours just to get one hero. Because at first, you had to buy each hero individually. You had some unlocked at first, but you didn't have. I don't think Luke Skywalker, who's one of the biggest phases in Star Wars,
Or Darth Vader, I think.
or Darth Vader for that matter, was unlocked at first. So you'd have to grind forever just to get them. And there's a ton of heroes in this game. Even before they started adding heroes with the post-launch stuff, there were a ton of heroes. So you'd have to grind hundreds and hundreds of hours just to get, a few of your favorite heroes, which was dumb. And they addressed it a few times. I remember on Reddit, I think it became the most disliked Reddit comment or post in history. essentially saying, this is how it is. That's it. They ended up kind of overhauling it later on, but yeah, I will say at launch this game was less than stellar with progression, with PR. Like this game kind of became the underdog eventually. But what do you guys think of the initial controversy?
Harley?
It was pretty rough.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like that. Well, I mean, yeah, the grinding was like way over top. Like, I think people were saying like it'd be like months and months of like in-game time unlock. Well, I wish trying to look for it right now. I wish I had the number, but I remember it being like an insane amount.
Yeah.
You'd have to grind on order to unlock all the heroes or something like that.
Yeah. I
That
remember
doesn't
reading
even
posts
include
about that.
cosmetics. That's just unlocking them.
Oh,
The
Yeah.
cosmetics is
and
even longer.
yeah, Dom's saying they had to make new laws because of Battlefield 2.
Or
I think
Battlefront 2.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, Battlefront 2 and its loot boxes. Yeah, I like
This game kind of
this kind
caused
of
all of that.
sparked.
Yeah.
Yeah, this sparked all the gambling laws and like lawsuits like everywhere. Kind of started it in a sense.
So in a
'cause it just was
way,
so outrageous.
we have this game to thank for that. But I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
sense.
that's a good way to look at it.
if you think about it that way from a
It's
positive
fine,
perspective, this game,
Yeah, you can screw it.
screwed up so bad that they had to make laws to prevent it from happening again. Which is, hey, that's. I mean, if that doesn't sum up how bad it was, I mean, that's how bad it was. It was literally pay to win. That's exactly what it was, and it was, frankly, it was bullshit. So I'm obviously really glad that it kind of where it is now. It's way better.
Yeah, I didn't buy it. I think for that reason.
I didn't buy it either for that reason. Yeah.
It
though
was.
I do have it now, mind you, but I didn't buy it right away for that reason.
And I pre-ordered it, so I'm the sucker. But
coming off the episode of talking about pre-ordering games, that's a good one. Where maybe you shouldn't pre-order games because they might be pay to win. But anyways,
if it says Star Wars, I'm gonna buy it. But but yeah, they started overhauling it majorly in March 2018. Mostly the biggest overhaul this game got was around that time. It removed the loot boxes, it changed the progression system, it made it a lot more fair. Because I think before the overhaul, I think I had only unlocked maybe 2 heroes because the grind was bad. I will say that up front. The gameplay, great, but the grind was, and I know I don't. That's the reason why I don't like playing MMO is because of the grinding you have to do. So imagine, me trying to enjoy this game, which I did. Like I still did enjoy it, but imagine, I'm gritting my teeth because it's like, wow, I got to grind a lot just to get some of these heroes. Not that I would play as a hero a lot because, people hog them, but the times I would actually try to, I'd have the same, few heroes, which, it's nice playing as certain people, but, I want to play as, the icons too. So,
yeah.
But regardless, some of the other big changes that I really liked in this game, there were dedicated classes again. So those are something from the original Battlefront games that was sorely missing in the 2015 Battlefront. And you can look at it as, in the 2015, the first one, which I'll refer to it as from here on out. In the first one, you can just make whatever you want. And, there's a freedom to that too. But I'm kind of a sucker for specific classes for, it's like making loadouts in Call of Duty. And that's I have different loadouts for different play styles and what I'm feeling that day and all that. So I can adjust my strategy based on that, which is cool. And each class has specific cards that you can equip and specific abilities and, perks and bumps and all that. So it's nice to have all that separate. People can look at it as a bad thing, but I kind of think it's nice. It makes it more interesting. And the best change, though, from the first one, other than just the gameplay feeling like it's tweaked and it's a lot tighter, is vehicles, heroes, and they introduced specialists, such as the Republic Commando, which came later, the Sith Troopers. You have different species for the Resistance that have, certain guns that you can't normally access. They're all selectable options when you spawn, and they all cost battle points. So as you play, as you do good, even as you die, really, you get battle points in the game. And that attributes to you being able to play as certain things. Do you guys like that kind of system, or do you prefer not that you prefer, but do you think the pickups were a better option for this kind of gameplay?
I just want to butt in real quick.
Yeah.
Found so back in 2017 they did Screen Rant did an article, and they say it would take 4,528 hours of play to unlock all the content, or you could spend $2,100 on
That's
top of the
nuts.
purchase of the game in the beginning.
Wow.
It was yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't know if I've played a game for that long.
Yeah, it's
Maybe World of Warcraft, but
yeah.
I've been on and off since the game came out.
Yeah, that game's been out for like
that's years.
15 years or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. So
in terms of the like the style of gameplay, like pickups versus the way they have it now, like I much prefer the way they have it now for this kind of a game.
absolutely.
There are times like I think, for example, Halo gameplay really benefits from weapons and pickups being on the map versus being able to like use a loadout. But for this kind of a game, like yeah, I like the way they have it now, where you kind of earn points and you can redeem those points, because even if you're not that good at the game, you can still like do cool things, which I like. And it feels less like a competitive multiplayer shooter and more like you're playing a scene from the movie in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Which I really, really like about Battlefront 2.
That's exactly how I feel about it. I never felt like I was playing, maybe with the first one I did, but with Battlefront 2, I never felt like I was just playing a Battlefield game, or I was just playing, a big scale multiplayer shooter. I felt like I was playing a Star Wars game, and some games can transcend their license. Like it could have easily just felt like a reskin Battlefield. It wouldn't have even felt like a Star Wars game. But the fact that it sounds, looks, and feels so much like Star Wars is what makes this game so special. And that's why I love it a lot too. The love that this game got from the developers after launch, like, it's kind of weird to think that, there's still no Galactic Conquest, which is still a big bummer. Maybe hopefully Battlefront 3, if they ever develop it, will have it. But we had the return. It took a while, but we had the return of like the classic style Battlefront gameplay with Supremacy. It was initially called Capital Supremacy, but they shortened it, which is, for those who are not familiar, capturing command posts. You're not just playing team deathmatch, or you're not just doing objective-based stuff like in Galactic Assault, which is one of the other big scale game mode in this game. You're specifically doing command posts, and then if you succeed on the battlefront, then you do a battle in the opposing team's ship, and if you lose there, then you go back and you repeat the capturing command post gameplay. Like, there's a lot of variety to it, and I really like that. I think that's some of the most fun I've had in a modern game, in games in general, is that style of gameplay, just because it makes it interesting. You adapt your strategies, you kind of follow the flow of the battlefront, if you will. Yeah, again, this is like same with the first Battlefront. I never really played the smaller scale stuff. I played some of the smaller scale stuff when the solo season came out, because the Kessel map, which is an excellent map, was only on the smaller game modes. So that was kind of a bummer, but for good reason, because it's a lot of tight corridors. But just in general, I pretty much love this game as it stands right now. I pretty much think it's perfect. There's obviously no Galactic Conquest. That's probably my only big gripe right now with it. But I think I've played a lot of it on console, but with it being free on the Epic Games Store right now, which we're not sponsored by them, but it's free right now on the Epic Games Store. I think getting it on PC and being able to run it on Ultra, like with perfect performance, it's kind of made me fall in love with this game all over again. I was already like really, really into it. On and off, granted, but I was really, really into it. But now having it on PC and being able to get the visual fidelity and the big influx of new players, it's kind of made me realize how much I really love this game. And I might argue this might be my favorite Star Wars game ever, as it currently stands.
Yeah, that's a big statement.
I know there's a lot of good Star Wars games, but this one just. There's something about this one I can't quite put my finger on.
I'll
but I
say
think it might be my favorite.
I'll say this: it's where it is right now, not where it was at launch, but where it is right now, for what it is. I can't really foresee it getting much better. Like, for all intents and purposes, this game is as good as it's gonna get, and it's as close to perfect as this game can get. For this kind of game, it's like it's a super cinematic, sharp, beautiful looking Star Wars big shooter with awesome maps, tons of modes, lots to do, and it's just a ton of fun. Like, I can't really. It's hard to criticize Battlefront 2 right now for anything. I would say the way it is, like it's just kind of great. In terms of like, obviously you can call it your favorite Star Wars game. That's perfectly fine. Everyone has their own favorites. I personally still prefer the KOTOR series myself, but this is Battlefront 2, the new one, where it is now, it's really, really great. I agree.
It's such a love letter to Star Wars too. If you fish through all the cosmetics, there's just so many. There's Clone War armor for Obi-Wan and Anakin. There's Rise of Skywalker stuff for Rey. There's a Rey Skywalker skin from the end of that movie. The Maul skin, which takes a while to do the challenge, but the Maul skin from Clone Wars looks great. All the different regiments for the Empire and the Republic. Like, there's just so much in here that makes like my Star Wars nerd head like explode with how great it is. And just having these environments, specifically I'm talking about the new Star Wars movies, because when the original Battlefronts came out, we only had up to Revenge of the Sith at that point. So having all this extra content for these movies, like when I was a kid, I used to play the shit out of these games, specifically like the old 2004 and 2005 Battlefront and Battlefront 2, just because it was so cool to experience those environments in a movie or in a game, sorry. And, being able to take it home with me, essentially, those movies. Now that we have the sequel era movies, which I do love, and having them in game form now, like one of my favorite maps is Agent Claws, and that's where the Resistance base is when we're in Rise of Skywalker. It's, I don't think it's ever mentioned my name in the movie, but it's one of the best like wide open maps, and a lot of chaos happens, at least in the games I play. A lot happens in it, and just overall, just all the maps in this game are pretty great. I think my favorite map overall, though, in the game might be the one on Crate, the Salt Planet, if you will. Nice wide open space. It just feels like Star Wars, and that's ultimately what I take away from Battlefront 2, and why it's my favorite game, Star Wars game of all time, really, is because not at first, right now it is, because they put a lot of love into it, and they clearly cared after a certain point with this game. They realized their mistake, or maybe they didn't, they got slapped, and then they kind of course corrected. But this game is just like overloading with great Star Wars content, and it kind of transcends being a shooter for me. It's a great Star Wars game.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah, you put it perfectly. I think it's a love letter to Star Wars now, and for any Star Wars fans, especially a guy like you, Jim, who is super invested in all the lore and everything. Like, yeah, how could you not love this game? It's they did good. Eventually, they did good. So,
but with all of that being said, kind of like what you guys, I think you mentioned it earlier with the news. Let me go back up. I have a lot of notes here. This month, it was unveiled that we have Lucasfilm Games now, which is brand new. It's essentially taking over the role that LucasArts had. So they're going to be the sole licensing brand for all Lucasfilm properties, not just Star Wars, anything else under the Lucasfilm umbrella, which kind of follows the announcement of this brand new Indiana Jones game, which was mentioned earlier in the show, from Machine Games, who developed the Wolfenstein games, which are actually the newer Wolfenstein games, starting with the New Order. I highly recommend all those games. They're great. Let's see here. And we also have a new open world Star Wars game that's story driven, from Massive Entertainment, who is under Ubisoft. And Massive Entertainment has they've developed, I think the director of the game was the director or the creative lead for Division 2, if I believe I'm saying that right. But regardless, they've done the Division games, they've done Assassin's Creed Revelation, they've also done World in Conflict, which is an older PC game and they also had a hand in Far Cry 3's development. So Massive Entertainment's, had their fingers everywhere, which is kind of nice. What do you guys think of that news of Lucasfilm Games and everything being announced? And I will actually, to bookend that, EA will still be developing Star Wars games, but they are not publishing them. So they're not going to be the sole publisher anymore. They're going to be kind of working under Lucasfilm Games, which is very nice.
So
what do you guys think about all that?
Before we jump into that, I think it's important to note that this 10-year deal started in 2013. So technically, I think if I'm reading everything properly in terms of everything that's come out, none of these games that we're talking about in terms of any new Star Wars games are actually going to come out until after 2023, because EA has the rights until 2023. Am I correct in thinking that? I think I am.
That sounds about right, because I don't think there's any Star Wars games that are kind of like close to being done, at least not for this year. Maybe like late next year, if anything. But yeah, I don't think there's anything in the pipe other than what was announced this month.
Well, I'm sure there's lots in the pipe that we don't know about,
Yeah, like nothing concrete though,
Yeah. So, I guess this Ubisoft game isn't going to come out for a number of years, and we don't really know much about it. But certainly the prospect of it makes me pretty excited. Harley, what are your thoughts on it?
Very excited for an open world Star Wars game, especially if it's like massive. I wonder if that'll be Battlefront 3.
It's possible that EA could develop a Battlefront 3 because
they totally could.
Under it. It's not like they're banned from making Star Wars games; they're just not the publisher anymore.
Open world Star Wars game, is that like campaign wise?
Yeah, like it's gonna be narrative driven, so it'll kind of be, I guess, like I made the closest thing I can relate to is think of like a Star Wars Assassin's Creed style maybe game. Like it's gonna be a lot of like a wide open environment, and narrative driven too. So it's not just like here's an open world and there might be like little missions here and there. Like it's gonna be maybe it'll be a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, which I think Respawn should do because they did a good job with the first one. But
I don't think it'll be a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. If anyone's making that, it's Respawn, and they might be making that right now. Like, why would they give it to anyone else? They knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
it's probably
sweet.
brand
Maybe
new.
Get some space combat, space travel, like where you can go like world to world.
That'd be cool.
I think what they need to do is so when the original Battlefront 2 came out, a little bit after, they had showcased somebody had leaked a trailer within the company of what was going to be Battlefront 3, and a gameplay mechanic in that game that they were going to have was the ability to go from ground to space in the same map, because in Battlefront 2, the original, the space maps and the ground maps were separated and they were different game modes totally. But Battlefront 3, original Battlefront 3, was going to try and go for like an all-in-one type of thing. And the game, it's still on YouTube. It's an excellent trailer, and there is you can download like the pre-alphas online if you can search for them. You can find them of that game. I don't know who leaked it, but somebody had put their like the very early work of that game on the internet. It's in rough shape. I've seen some videos of it, but it looked promising back then. And the trailer they showed, there's a lot of people running around, but it looked really nice. It looked like it would have been cool. So if that mechanic is incorporated into an open world game, where I kind of envision, hopefully it won't be like it, but I kind of envision like there's mods for Skyrim you can get where it takes away the loading screens. So like all the cities are already preloading, you just essentially walk in. I think it would be cool to go from planet to planet without loading screens. Like you can disguise it in certain ways, like No Man's Sky like style, flying from planet to planet. That'd be really cool.
On the next gen consoles too, with the SSDs on the PS5 and Series X and Series S, I'm sure that's possible in terms of like little to no loading screens, like going from planet to planet or space to ground. Like I feel like if they're gonna do that, like this is the perfect time to do it with next gen.
Dom in the chat says, "God, these map load screens I'm watching on the stream brings back so much nostalgia." Apologies for the gameplay ahead of time. I never played the original Battlefront that's the original Battlefront for the Xbox. I never played it on hard. I only ever played up to medium, so I put it on hard to see if I could even do it, and I think I lost all 5 maps. So apologies for how bad I am at hard mode. I'm much better on PC, but yeah, what were we even talking about? Yeah, it'd be cool if especially with the power of next gen, like compared to like the last gen. I think anything's possible really with what they're going to come out with.
Yeah, it excites me. I guess diving back a little bit into the EA Star Wars thing, I thought it was really surprising that they only came out with 4 games so far over their tenure of exclusively making Star Wars game, especially with all the new with the sequel trilogy that came out. I thought they were gonna pump out like a bunch of Star Wars games, and really they made Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2, which were very similar. Squadrons, which was a very small game comparatively, and Jedi Fallen Order. So like, I don't know. It's interesting to me that EA didn't make too many different kinds of games. And maybe in these next 3 years we'll see a couple things come out from them that, you know, maybe fleshes out that portfolio a bit. But like what this Ubisoft game is making, or this Ubisoft team is making in this game, like I think it's a good direction. Like Star Wars is such a rich IP and a rich license that obviously has a ton of brand recognition. Lots of people love Star Wars, and you can do so much with it. It's almost like a blank. It's not a blank slate, but I mean it's pretty close to it. You can do almost anything you want to do in the Star Wars universe. So, I want to see all sorts of different kinds of games come out from all sorts of different kinds of studios. Think back when LucasArts were making Star Wars games. Like there were so many different kinds, right? Like all these Jedi Knight and obviously Battlefront and KOTOR, and you had the pod racing game. You had everything, right? Like there was so much stuff coming out. Almost every year it seemed like there was, you know, different Star Wars games coming out back in the day. So I'd like to get back to that. Obviously not games being shovelware, but there's a lot of talented studios out there that I think could make some killer Star Wars games. Personally, and I guess this kind of leads into the question of the week, so maybe I'll save that for now. Did you have any more thoughts or anything you want to say about anything here, Jim or Harley?
Do you have anything, Harley?
I just agree with Tony that, you know, it'd be nice to see some more Star Wars games. Variety too. Maybe not just shooters.
Yeah.
No. Like I would wonder what what were they called? Like a Telltale Star Wars game would be like. No.
That'd be
really cool.
Interesting. Ooh, I wouldn't even think of that. Yeah, we need another RTS too, because I never played Empire at War, but I own it. And
Played Empire.
Battlegrounds, which was essentially reskinned Age of Empires too, but both those games were fairly well regarded, especially Empire at War. We haven't had a Star Wars RTS since then, really.
Oh, and that's a pretty old game too.
Who made Hill Wars 2 more specifically? Get them to make a new Star Wars game. That'd be awesome. Imagine like a Star Wars RTS kind of like Hill Wars 2. That'd be sick.
Creative Assembly, like baby.
Total War. Like Total War, Star Wars.
Ooh.
Yeah, so like there's another perfect idea. Like that's like a glove right there. Like that makes perfect sense. Total War, Star Wars, get on it. Like they should get on that right now and start making that.
Lucasfilm Games, if you're listening, I love Star Wars like to death. Just ask me for ideas. Ask us for ideas. We can help you help us help you.
Right.
Very easy. When I was very quick story. When I was a kid, my brother and I used to play Age of Empires 2 religiously. And I remember we wrote it. Well, my mom never sent it, I think, but we typed out a letter to EA, who or whoever was I think it was to Microsoft, actually, funny enough.
Microsoft Mark.
But we typed out a letter saying, hey, we love Age of Empires 2. Can you make Lord of the Rings RTS like Age of Empires? It would be sick. And we printed it off. My mom pretended to mail it and blah, blah, blah. But, the next year, Battlefield Earth came out. So, if I write a letter to Lucasfilm Games saying, hey, Hill Wars 2 is pretty sick. Can you make a RTS like that? Well, you know what? The future is so bright with Lucasfilm Games. Now that it's in-house again, Star Wars can really, because they kind of got a big restart in the fandom with the TV shows, specifically The Mandalorian, and the end of the Clone Wars and all that, the final season. So I think gives them the chance to have a good reset with the games and kind of make it to what it was when LucasArts had it. You know, like you were saying, you had the variety. You had Republic Commando as a shooter. You had Empire at War as an RTS. You had the Lego Star Wars games that was like a family game. You had your racing games like Episode 1 Racer. You had your action adventure games like Shadows of the Empire. Like, there's so much potential to restart this brand in the gaming space, because, you know, not all EA Star Wars was bad. Like we said, Battlefront 2, my favorite Star Wars game, became the best Star Wars game. If you ask me, it took a while, but it became the best one. And then Jedi Fallen Order showed that a narrative-driven single-player experience in the Star Wars universe can still work, because, you know, like, there's so much potential to go up.
Yeah.
And it really excites me. And though, I guess that's my final thought, is just that a brand that I love to death, it seems like it just keeps getting better and better with all the news in everything in Star Wars, with movies coming out, with TV shows, and now with games. With it being in-house, I think that the roof's the limit, really. So
the roof's the limit. The sky's the limit, you mean?
Sorry, yeah, that's the expression. The sky's the limit.
The roof is the limit.
The roof will be perpetually blown to pieces.
So I think that leads perfectly into the question of the week, which I think this makes sense. Is, what's your dream Star Wars game that you'd like to be made, and if possible, like, what studio would you like to make it? For me, I'll start off the conversation, and anyone in chat, feel free to answer. And if you're watching the VOD, just let us know in the comments too. I'm super interested to see what people come up with. But for me, it's simple. It's Knights of the Old Republic 3, a proper sequel to KOTOR 2, and it'd be developed by Obsidian. Easy as that. The developers of Fallout New Vegas. That makes perfect sense. A match made in heaven. Do it. Jim? Any ideas?
You know, that's funny, because I kind of had a similar answer in my head ready to go. So I guess I'll say it. Recently in the book space, the High Republic came out, which is the furthest back in canon that we've gone. Essentially what the Old Republic was in the old canon. So I think I would want BioWare to develop a High Republic game in the style of like Mass Effect. Kind of like KOTOR then too, inherently. I think the potential there, because it's so unexplored right now, I think we could get a really special RPG type of game.
Yeah, that's far enough back where you could kind of do whatever, right? So.
Yeah, really.
Cool. Harley, any thoughts? Dream Star Wars game you can think of?
Mine would be the RTS.
The RTS one?
Creative Assembly.
Yeah, like a Halo Wars 2, but Star Wars?
Oh, yeah. Halo Wars 2, but Star Wars? That'd be awesome.
Actually, how about this? To kind of change the answer to make it different from yours, how about we get a Fallout 76 a Fallout 76 style game in the Star Wars universe? Because we used to have Star Wars Galaxies back then. So how about you make a Star Wars Galaxies type of game? But I don't know who the developer could be that would make it like that.
Not Bethesda.
I'll say Respawn Entertainment. Fuck it, why not? Make it Respawn. They did a good job at Jedi Fallen Order. Let's just see what they can do.
The interesting thing about Respawn too is they have that Titanfall 2 experience with the multiplayer too. So that could, who knows, man? Like, okay, quick side note on Respawn, man. They haven't made a bad game yet. They have a perfect track record. They have Titanfall 1, which was like one of the biggest shooters and one of the most eye-catching shooters of last gen, and that was their first game, Titanfall 1. Titanfall 2, fantastic, and Jedi Fallen Order, fantastic. Like, they haven't made a bad game yet. Anything that Respawn's gonna make, it's almost like Nintendo at this point, with some games where it's like, okay, I know that Pokemon games are gonna be good, I know that Mario games are gonna be good, I know Zelda's games are gonna be good, I know Respawn games are gonna be good now. Like, whatever Respawn's gonna make, I'm in. And if they make more Star Wars, like you said, Jim, I'm in. But I think that's it. I think that's all we have, right, guys? Any final thoughts?
Oh wait, Cyberpunk in chat.
Oh yeah,
a new person. Challenger approaches. Go ahead, Jim.
So Supperfish, thank you for tuning in. Your dream Star Wars game, according to you, is Battlefront made by Bungie.
That would be interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah,
what about like a Destiny 2 style game in the Star Wars universe made by Bungie?
Yeah.
Do you think that would be good?
That could be good.
That kind of carries over from what I was saying about like a Fallout 76 style game.
Yeah, that's kind of similar in a way. Yeah. And then he says Apex ? Yeah, like a Star Wars battle royale could be cool too. Like the cool thing about Star Wars, it's like a blank slate. You can do whatever you want with it, right? So that could be cool.
I take back my answer. I think it would be really cool to get a Dishonored type of game developed by Arcane Studios in the Star Wars universe, because Dishonored and even like Eidos Interactive, who made the Deus Ex games, I think either one of those people, if they made Star Wars games with their player choice kind of like game design, I think that would be really interesting. And I also agree with Superfish again. I used to love Star Wars Bounty Hunter, where you played as Jango Fett on the PS2. That would be cool. That's kind of what 1313 was going to be before they canceled it. So it'd be nice if 1313 eventually came out in some form or another. That'd be nice too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like a game that centers around the Siege or Siege of Mandalore. I think that'd be sweet. Cool, especially with all the hype around the Mandalorian show. Be sweet.
That's
a good option too. Wow.
Another great example. And I completely forgot with the Apex example there that Respawn also made Apex, right? Apex Legends. So there you go. Another banger they made. Yeah, but lots of great options here for Star Wars games. Clearly we all kind of agree the future is bright for it now that the EA stranglehold is being loosened eventually. And not to say that they made bad Star Wars games by any means, but I think the more different studios making it, the better. So good news for Star Wars in the future. But let's start to wrap up the show here, guys. Unless you guys have any final kind of closing thoughts, Harley, if you wanna plug the socials, let's start that.
Sure. So, watching us here on YouTube, you can subscribe to us. You can like the vid, share us. Also, hit that bell notification so you get notified when we go live. On Facebook, we're at Follow My Tracers. At Twitter, we're at FMT Show. And where can they find you, Tony?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitch at Figure9TV, twitch.tv/Figure09. And you can follow me on Twitter at Figure9TV. That is me. Jim?
And Jim?
If you want to follow me on Xbox, on GOG Galaxy, on Steam, if you just search for Power Grudge, you'll find me. It's a pretty unique name.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Well, there you go. Thanks everyone for watching. This was a fun episode to do, and we'll be back next week with a new topic. Until next time, we are Follow My Tracers, and everyone have a good weekend. Bye.
Have a good one.
Have a good one, everybody.